Senator, what are the chances that the Guam Heartbeat Act will pass in this legislature?
Well, you know, Troy, I was very, very heartened this morning that we got 8 votes to put it on the agenda. And I got to tell you that I think that those votes were done with conviction. I think those votes were done through much contemplation. I think those votes were considered based on all of the dialogue and the conversation that's been surrounding this very, very critical, important issue. And so I'm hoping that we have robust discussion on the floor. And in the end, I'm praying, and people of Guam, please pray, that this bill passes, and then whatever the governor's disposition of it is, that will be what it is. I think we've kind of known that the governor has projected, but maybe with things that have come about lately, particularly our new elected AG saying that he will be going to the Supreme Court of Guam, District Court, to have the injunction removed. In fairness, I really hope that folks would look at this and senators will look at this. The truth is, Troy, the Heartbeat Act actually might be a better remedy in law than what the current law is in terms of not having a criminal procedure, but rather a civil procedure in terms of those who would conduct the heinous act of the killing of unborn babies.
So can we call it, can we be more specific about what this might be? The Heartbeat Act might end up being a compromise between pro-life and pro-choice advocates. Would that be correct?
Well, you know, I've heard that, of course, one of our great friends that we both are mutual friends with, I think probably one of the most astute jurists on island, Bob Klitsky, you know, that these two laws can actually run parallel and, you know, congruent, because you have your civil litigation, then you have your criminal litigation. But in all fairness here, I think that if you look at the type of community we are, I think that without abortion being legal, but having that window of prior to the heartbeat, and the fact that it would be the actors in the act and not the individual making that horrible decision, you know, to face face the law, you know. And so the Heartbeat Act really, to me, builds a system around saying, how can we help these pregnant mothers to find other options, adoption, maybe even within their own family. You know, sometimes, Troy, families don't even know that somebody's with a child and making a difficult situation. You can imagine an auntie or an uncle or a brother or a sister, you know, saying, hey, can you please just have that child and I'll take care. So I think the Heartbeat Act is more of a bill that holds those who are hell-bent on providing this, this act, but not the person that's in trauma and dilemma. And so maybe as a community, if it is adopted and it becomes law, we realize that the punitive nature, although if the Heartbeat Act wouldn't pass, I still hope that Bell's Law stays in place. But maybe because of technology and everything that we've learned now about what it means, that the real life inside of a mother's body, that there's more an act to preserve it, and that actors who are bent on not preserving that life are the ones to be held accountable in the final analysis.
So you're pro-life, right?
Very pro-life.
Let's take the political process step by step. We have incoming Attorney General Douglas Moylan. Pardon me. I'm sorry. Let's go backward a little bit more. The 20th Guam Legislature unanimously enacted a statute that criminalized abortion, the most stringent anti-abortion statute known in the nation.
Right.
Governor Joe Addis signed it. Then Attorney General Elizabeth Barrett Anderson took the matter. I'm sorry. She was opposed to it. Anita Arriola, an attorney, took the matter to court along with other actors, and I believe it was the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals that placed an injunction, or the District Court of Guam that placed an injunction. Then on appeal, it was upheld. And so the statute's never been removed by the legislature. Correct? It's still on the books.
Correct.
The new Attorney General, Douglas Moylan, disagrees with the current Attorney General and says this can absolutely be removed in terms of the injunction. And so come January, there is a high likelihood that the Bell Arriola law will go into effect.
Yes.
As someone who is pro-life, is that such a bad thing, number one? Number two, does this paint Governor Leon Guerrero in a corner now to want instead to pass the Heartbeat Act rather than having the Bell Arriola law get up on the books?
You know, let me be clear. I'm a supporter of the Bell Arriola law. And if you look at jurisdictions, I think recently Georgia and of course it was a more recent passage of a law in Georgia that was found, I believe, to have a discrepancy with regard to Roe Wade as well. That was overturned by the Supreme, their local court, saying that the injunction has been removed. All over the place, I believe Arizona, other locations, it's holding up in law. So the reality is, if you're really thinking about it, the AG-elect's responsibility is ministerial. And I really have a hard time believing that the District Court of Guam would notwithstanding the fact that there may be some internal objections, just following the law, that it would be a course of action. And
because this was a statute by the legislature.
Absolutely. Very durable statute. I think the only thing in question was whether or not the referendum, but obviously the referendum couldn't be held because it was already a law that was not enforceable.
It's an outdated portion of
it. Portion of it. But I don't think that that's going to hold, because we could always do that in the next legislature. So let me be clear. I do support that. I just think that's because so much time has passed, and we've seen that there's not necessarily a reason anymore to hold, a mother who's making a horrible decision, in the event that they do go forward with the act, as criminally liable.
Which the Bell Arriola law prescribes.
Right, and so the thing is that if you look at, you look at all of that we've learned over the years. We've learned through science that it truly is the heartbeat that basically starts and stops life, right? We've learned so many things. So the context of the Heartbeat Act, really, if you really look at it, is more compassionate. And it really only goes after actors. It goes after doctors who would perform it. And it's civil, right, exactly. The penalties. If you look at what happened in Texas after the Heartbeat Act, was instituted, I mean, basically, those doctors who are making money off of abortion just picked up shop and moved somewhere else. Went to other locations where they want to continue, that's more favorable to the act that they perform, right? So the bottom line is that really what it comes down to is, I think we move into a phase of helping and supporting mothers in crisis. There's so many people on Guam and worldwide that want newborn babies. I just really believe that there's an answer to this.
Do you believe that other senators have the same passion and drive that you have to get the Heartbeat Act passed?
I think the thing is that while it's been very difficult, and it's been difficult for me, Troy had been attacked. You see there was a very robust group of people yelling at us this morning when we were walking to the session hall. I don't get bothered by that stuff. I mean, I've never been influenced by anybody screaming at me. But the thing is our community is very, very deeply divided on this, and some people really, I think, have even they're not acts of violence, but the outright anger that's coming out. It's concerning to me. So, but I think the importance of the issue is starting to resonate with senators, and I hope that that's true. And I hope that now that we have this situation whereby it's almost inevitable that Bell's law will be enacted by virtue of the injunction being removed, is time for reflection. And it's time to see that times have changed and there's more compassionate proposals available.
Thank you very much for your time, Senator. Appreciate it.